time for the American Saddlebred, the world's most beautiful and versatile horse. Here at the Kentucky State Fair, the finest show horses in the world come to compete for grand championships in their classes. Early in the show, the audience gets a preview of the weanlings, the show horses of the future. These frisky youngsters are baby colts, all under 1 year of age. Parade of stallions, outstanding sires who have produced many horse show winners. Competition at American Saddlebred horse shows falls into three major divisions: 3-gaited, 5-gaited, and fine harness. The 3-gaited horse, shown with clipped mane and tail, performs the three natural gaits of the breed. The walk, prompt and showy. The trot, a 2-beat gait, high in action and well collected. And the canter, a slow, rhythmic 3-beat gait. 5-gaited horses add 2 man-made gaits. The slow gait, performed in methodical fashion with especially high front action. The rack, a fast 4-beat or single-foot gait, well controlled and free from lateral motion. Knee action is snappy, and the hocks move in perfect rhythm. With his full mane and tail, the 5-gaited horse is the aristocrat of the show ring. Quarter boots protect his front feet against overstepping by the back feet. Boots also are worn in the fine harness class, where 2 gaits are required: an animated walk and an airy parked trot. Judges also rate a horse on conformation, comparing his physical characteristics with those of an ideal horse. The equitation class is open to amateur riders under 18, and individual workouts are required. Riding without stirrups is one of the variations that may be requested by the judges. Exhibitor's ability to ride and show his horse correctly that is judged, rather than the horse himself.
Yellow horse on the win. First and the winner, the class goes to number 30. It's Andrea Wilson of LaPorte, Indiana, and a nice big round.
Not all the action at a horse show takes place in the arena, of course. In the cool of the early morning, trainers exercise their mounts on the meadow or in the outdoor ring. Blacksmiths ply their time-honored trade under tents set up near the stalls. Each horse is carefully groomed to look his best at showtime. Tack also requires daily care. The veterinarian is always available for immediate checkups. Between appearances in the show ring or on the exercise grounds, horses relax in gaily decorated stalls. Riders also wait here for their next turn in the arena. Children pause for cool refreshment, and horsemen gather to visit. Some guests at the show make it a point to visit one of the many fine horse farms located nearby in Kentucky's famous bluegrass country. Visitors find that the horses are quiet and gentle, traits that help to make the American saddlebred an ideal family horse. On the final night of the show, excitement grows as horses enter the arena to compete for grand championship trophies. These are entries that have turned in superior performances in the qualifying classes held throughout the week. One of the keenest competitions takes place in the three-gated stake. Horses are required to go both ways around the ring at all three gates. And we have a decision by the judges. The winner is Bellissima. This is also Grand Championship night in the Fine Harness Division, where an outstanding list of entries performs brilliantly. Fine Harness Grand Champion is Tasha Ling. Suspense at the show reaches its peak with the announcement of the $10,000 World's Grand Championship stake for 5-gated horses. The governor of Kentucky is on hand to make the award. And tonight, there is much more at stake than a trophy and a garland of roses. This is the moment of truth for the beautiful mare, My, a 5-time winner. And there's no doubt about the sentiment of the audience. A standing ovation greets the champion mare. Now, My will attempt to match the 6 victories of the legendary Wing Commander, one of the most famous show horses of all time. In slow motion, the flawless performance of My is especially impressive. During the final workout, My blazes into action with an unusually brilliant performance. In breathless anticipation, the vast audience in Freedom Hall waits for the judge's decision. My has done it. The judges have awarded this American Saddlebred mare her 6th World's Grand Championship. In the excitement of victory, no one can foresee that this will be a bittersweet triumph. In a few weeks, My will be gone, victim of a sudden fatal malady. But for the thousands here tonight, she'll be remembered as they see her. A moving symphony of grace and rhythm. A splendid example of the most beautiful horse in the world, the American Saddlebred horse.
There goes Paul Revere, riding off into the annals of history, never to be forgotten. The horse he rode that memorable night, the Narragansett Pacer, was never seen or heard of again after his capture. But his bloodlines and his ability to do an easy gait under saddle has transcended to form the American Saddlebred horse that we have today, the greatest horse on earth. It was no accident that many early horsemen found their way to the bluegrass country. Here were open meadows and gentle terrain where horses could graze and gallop at will in a climate both temperate and invigorating. Here was soil and water, rich in the minerals needed to produce the strong bones so important for saddlebreds. No doubt about it, the bluegrass was horse country from the very start. A whole way of life developed here that was focused on the breeding and raising and racing and showing of horses. The delightful, restful, cultural manner of life was due directly to the horse. The early settlers who came here needed a horse like Paul Revere's Narragansett Pacer, with his easy, ambling gait that carried him smoothly over rough roads without tiring his rider. They needed his ability to shift from one gait to another when the terrain demanded it. The pioneers soon discovered that in Kentucky their horses needed another important asset, speed. We spoke of the need for speed and the pedigree of the American Saddlebred horse. To acquire that speed, we came to the thoroughbred horse. By careful selection and crossbreeding, we produced a mount that retained the easy riding gaits and gentle temperament of the saddler, and at the same time showed the finely chiseled head, the length of neck, the sharpness of withers, and the distance running ability of the thoroughbred. What the average landowner really needed was a utility horse, a horse who could pull the plow, pull a carriage to church on Sunday. The children could ride him double. In fact, an animal versatile enough to perform a variety of functions. Because he was so gentle and eager to please, a horse like this often became a member of the family. But always, excellence as a riding horse came first, and the fondest dreams of the horsemen came true in 1840 when a wonder horse, Denmark, was foaled in Bardstown. He was the offspring of an imported English stallion and a Kentucky mare, and his progeny was so remarkable that Denmark became the founding sire of a uniquely American horse, the American Saddlebred horse. Along the way, the bloodlines of another distinctively American breed, the Standardbred, contributed both speed and endurance. Meanwhile, in the 1790s, another new breed, the Morgan, had appeared in Vermont. They were unusually agile and sturdy, so some Morgan blood also found its way into the ancestry of the American Saddlebred. In addition to the characteristics heretofore described going into the makeup of the American Saddlebred horse, the breeders have constantly kept in mind beauty. I've been a lover of fine horses all my life, and that adds up to almost 80 years. I've seen the best representatives of many breeds, both here and abroad, and to me, the American Saddlebred is still the most beautiful horse in the world. When the wagon train started rolling westward in the middle of the last century, the Saddlebred went with them. Many of the immigrants rode saddlers over the Oregon Trail, opening a new chapter in the history of the breed. However, the supreme test for the Saddlebred came when war broke out between the states. Every man from the bluegrass, Confederate or Union, wanted to be a cavalryman, and their favorite mounts, naturally, were American Saddlebred horses. It was from here, at Castleton, that young John Castleman, only 21 years old, set out with a company of 41 volunteers to join Morgan's men. John Castleman, who became a captain under Morgan, and later a United States Army general, served as the first president of the American Saddle Horse Breeders Association when it was founded in 1891. Today, the unique heritage of the American Saddlebred is perpetuated at breeding farms in many areas of the country. A large operation might carry as many as 100 carefully selected brood mares, along with weanlings, yearlings, and stallions. The different aspects of training involve first making the foal know that you're his friend. Then you teach him what you want done. And to do this, you first approach him in friendliness, Then you teach him to turn to the right or the left in long line driving, to stop and stand, to understand what the bit is about. It is not a punitive thing. It's to indicate to him a message that you'd like for him to turn to the right or left or stop or back. Whether on a large breeding farm or in a family stable, the spring foaling is an exciting event. Most members of the family are likely to gather around to welcome the new arrival. It is such an educational thing to let the children see nature in its evolution, the rejuvenation of life in the birth of a foal. The majority of saddlebred horses are used as pleasure horses, and many of these are shown in pleasure horse classes. Children especially find them gentle, manageable, and companionable. An American saddlebred can perform in the pleasure horse competition 1 minute and take a child for a ride in the park the next, with complete safety and companionship. Many men find that a brisk ride in the early morning makes their entire day more pleasant and relaxed. For young and old alike, the saddlebred is the ideal horse, an animal whose heritage of versatility makes him the perfect family horse. As we have seen, the founders of the American saddle horse breed extracted from the older breeds the very best qualities and melded them into the most exquisite, obedient, and capable horse on earth, the American saddlebred horse. Looking at the saddlebred in World Championship competition, you see a colorful, vivid era of American history captured in the flawless performance of a single horse. You see the legendary Narragansett Pacer with his ambling style, his aptitude for riding gaits, and his white markings. You see the standardbred with his speed and endurance. You see the thoroughbred with his superior conformation, his speed, and his intelligence. You see the sturdy Morgan with his quickness and dependability. Yes, you find so much of what was best and enduring in our American horses. So much of what is most colorful and significant in our national history, all wrapped up in this single horse, this distinctively American horse, the American Saddlebred.